Hello and welcome, citizens of the internet, to this character creation video with me, Grey Hunter, for Icewind Dale, the Enhanced Edition. I know it's not actually the character creation screen, but that is for a good reason. I am going to show off in slightly more detail the characters that I will be playing for the multiplayer campaign that I'm doing with Berg and Torio, as you will see when the opening episode goes up, which should be pretty much about the same time as this does. So I just wanted to go over the characters a little bit, because in our intro video we kind of wanted to jump straight into the action, so we didn't really go over all that much of what we did. We didn't really explain choices and all that sort of thing. So I'm going to do that for my characters. I'm not sure if Berg and Torio are going to do that for theirs. But for my characters, I am the guy controlling the designated fighter/archer people, which is kind of fun. It's a little difficult, I've found, as we've recorded a little bit in advance. It's a little difficult, I've found, because one of them is predominantly ranged and the other one likes to get up and stab things, but it's a fun experience. I do like it. And so we should go over a little bit what choices I made. So I got pretty good rolls for the character creation, as you can see on both Lady Grey and Juno Aurelian. They've got pretty good stats. Because they aren't reliant on using magic or anything like that, I kind of tanked their intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, because I haven't really found those to be particularly useful, but then again, I haven't played Icewind Dale in ages. I played it a little bit when it first came out, but after that, I never really came back to the series, because at the time, I didn't really enjoy RPGs too much. It was a younger me, a foolish me, because RPGs have become amazing as a gamer to me. So I went with what I usually went with when I played the tabletop, and that was good strength, good dexterity, and good constitution. So Lady Grey is actually better in terms of strength than Juno Aurelian is, which is unfortunate, because I'd really like to have this 1874 on Juno Aurelian and the 1807 on Lady Grey. But we can't always get what we want, as the great philosopher Mick Jagger once said. She has a dexterity of 19, because as an elf, because what would you choose for your archer other than an elf, she gets a bonus to her dexterity, enabling her to put it up to 19, which is really, really good, so I'm told. I read online that a score of 19 in most stats means, like, it's godlike, so she's about as powerful as a demigod. Kind of useful when dexterity is so very important to your armor class and to slapping things with arrows. Or if you're a thief. Thieves like dexterity. It's very, very important. Her constitution's pretty good, 17. She can't get 18 as far as I know because, again, elf. But considering that she's not meant to get hit all that often, I'm hoping that won't matter too much. So far it hasn't in our recordings, but that said, we are still in the very early game where things don't really hurt us all that badly. And she survived so far. She's doing okay. Now, because you get some weapon proficiencies when you begin, I also picked the Archer kit for those of you who are familiar with this game. Archers can get Grand Mastery in longbows, so I figured an elf really competent with longbows already, being able to achieve Grand Mastery in longbows, probably gonna be for the better. So I went with one proficiency in scimitars / wakizaki. I can never get that word. Give me a tanto. I can say that one. Scimitars, curved swords. I put 2 points into longbow, because she can get 2 points in longbow at character creation. 1 in two-handed weapon style, because as far as I know, longbows benefit from both, because they're a two-handed weapon. So having two-handed weapon style and longbow proficiencies means you're better at shooting things. As far as I know, I could be wrong. I'm hoping I'm not, because that was a valuable point that I put in there. And as a ranger subtype, she gets 2 weapon style for free. Probably not going to be all that useful, although I suppose maybe if we find like a magical scimitar and a magical wakizashi, ninja natto, those things. If we find magical ones of those, it could possibly be useful. But overall, she's pretty decent as a character. She's got a few skills for being an elf that we probably won't use all that often, like move silently and hide in the shadows. But then again, they might come in useful, because as far as I know, hide in the shadows does grant you a better, like, sneak attack kind of roll thing. But I guess we'll see. The racial enemy is Spectral Undead, because I figure, Ranger and Undead are probably going to be something that we come across a lot. Spectral Undead, as far as I know, that's like shadows and other such things. Those are very dangerous from what I remember, and I'd like to be able to kill them. Though granted, I'll probably need magical weapons. I'll show off the kit description, just so you guys can pause it and read it if you care about what other stuff she gets. Some of it's really, really good. Cold Shot should be amazing on some stuff. So pause that if you want to read it. Moving on to Juno Aurelian, who is a straight-up fighter. Just straight-up fighter. No special sub-kits or anything like that. Just straight-up smacking things because she can. Again, she got a pretty good roll, so she's got 18, 18, 18 in Dexterity, Strength, and Constitution. And her role is pretty self-explanatory. She goes up, smacks things really hard in the face with a sword. I decided to go half-elf because half-elf kind of intrigues me. I like it. I also read that half-elves are probably the most versatile in terms of being able to actually fight with stuff. Again, not sure how relevant that is from the tabletop to Icewind Dale, but I liked half-elves back in the day when I played on tabletop, so I figured I'd keep going with that. So her proficiencies are a long sword and a short sword and shield style, because the idea is that she's going to be pretty much up in the thick of it, smacking things. And I'm hoping that we'll pick up some good swords and some good shields. We actually did already find a shield in our recording. It's pretty decent, actually. It's pretty nice. These are the level 1 characters that I imported, obviously, so I can't show you the cool things that we found. No spoilers. But her role is obvious. She's going to go smack things in the face a lot, repeatedly. I also recall, vaguely, that half-elves can kind of fill in as makeshift bards, because we don't have a bard in the party. I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong about a lot of things. I haven't played this game or these rules for ages, because they're very, very old. Still fun, but very, very old. I picked Chaotic Good for both of them, because I figured neutral's a little bit too wishy-washy. I like Chaotic Good because it means that you can sometimes decide to do things that would be perceived as bad and still roleplay a little bit, and I like role-playing. This is why I like RPGs. Role-playing is fun. So I picked Chaotic Good mainly because as a ranger she could only pick from good alignments, but also because Juno Aurelian I figured it would make sense that she has the ability to say, well, I predominantly try to do good things, but occasionally, I know I need to be practical. That's my understanding of Chaotic Good. I guess that's kind of closer to Chaotic Neutral, but Neutral seems a little bit too batshit crazy if they're chaotic. So there's that. Alright, so that is an introduction to both of my characters. I'm going to throw in the intro movie to Icewind Dale at the end of this video, so if you care about watching that so you understand the beginning plot perhaps a little bit better, because the intro movie is really quite good. I do like the intro movie. You can watch that, and that will lead directly into the first episode of our new series. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have some tips for me and Berg and Toriel, because for Toriel, this is his first time playing Icewind Dale at all. For Berg and myself, it's been a while, so we're not going to be perfect at remembering where things are or what kind of cool stuff we can pick up, so we'll be kind of relying on you guys to point out where we messed up so that we can perhaps do better if we decide to finish the game and maybe do a Heart of Fury run. It's been put up as a possibility, and no, I'm terrified about it. I'm not excited. I'm terrified. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the series, and I will see you in that first video. So future me to present you.
They say that history is the greatest of all teachers, and that tales of past deeds define who we are in the present, and what we shall be in the future. It is said that such tales shall, with each telling, illuminate us all with the light of truth. I shall tell you of such a tale. It is a tale quite familiar to me, for I have spent nearly a lifetime piecing it together and chronicling it here within this book. For years I have pondered its passages, studying every line, committing each word to memory. Perhaps now, in the telling of it, I shall at last find the answers I seek. Our story takes place in the northern region of Faerun, known as Icewind Dale. It is a harsh, frozen land, cut off from the rest of the world by a wall of jagged peaks called the Spine of the World. For centuries, the icy plains of the Dale have been home to the barbarian peoples of the Uthgard and Regedman. Huddled together in small, closely knit tribes, the barbarians lived simple lives, free, proud, and fiercely independent. Until the day an archmage named Ericon came to Icewind Dale. With an army of mercenaries, Ericon sought to conquer the north and force the fierce barbarians into slavery. Long weeks of battle followed, and the scattered barbarian tribes suffered terrible losses. Defeat seemed inevitable. In their darkest hour, a barbarian shaman named Jared came forth and demanded a council between all the remaining tribes of the north. A respected warrior, Jared persuaded the council to put aside their differences and unite against Ericon. Strengthened by a new sense of purpose, the barbarians rallied behind their new leader. The combined might of the Northmen proved more than a match for Ericon, who had counted on the division of the tribes. Wave after wave of barbarian warriors tore into Ericon's hired army, forcing them on the defensive and ultimately into full retreat. As his army crumbled around him, Ericon had time for one last desperate act before his enemies descended upon him. Drawing upon his remaining power, the Archmage breached the planar boundaries, tearing open a portal to the lower planes. The foolish Archmage's cries of victory immediately turned to shrieks of terror as the hideous and twisted shapes of demonkind materialized from the portal and poured onto the battlefield. The sudden appearance of the demons drove the combatants, barbarian and mercenary alike, to turn to meet the new threat side by side. The remaining warriors bravely charged the portal to drive the hellspawn back and were slaughtered by the hundreds. As his people fell around him, the barbarian shaman, Jared, looked up from the blood-drenched snow of the battlefield and caught sight of a lone figure high upon a ridge in the distance. Jared immediately recognized this vision as an omen from his god Tempus, and in that instant, he knew what had to be done. Shouting cries to his god, he charged through the ranks of the demons and plunged into the portal. As Jared's blood fused with the energies of the portal, an explosion of white light engulfed the battlefield. When the light subsided, the demons were gone, and the portal was closed. In its place hovered a disk of solid stone. Frozen within the center of the disk was Jared's body, locked in his final moment of agony, in his final moment of triumph for all eternity. But that is not the end of our tale. It is but the beginning.